Welcome to Novak Djokovic's press conference. We'll start with questions in English. If you'd like to raise your hand at the back first. 2, 3.
Hi, Novak. How much did you enjoy that match being out there with Stan today?
I enjoyed it for the first 2 sets. After that, it was a little bit dramatic, you know. I think I dropped my level a little bit. He raised his level, and crowd got into it. So, you know, I could feel the time ticking as well for the curfew. So we both knew coming into the court that I guess the maximum we can play is 3 sets. So if we were going to finish, one of us had to win in straight sets, and I'm just happy it was me. It all looked great after 2 sets, but then, as I said, you know, he raised his game. He's a multiple Grand Slam champion, someone that has, you know, been in this kind of occasion so many times, and he has beaten me in the 2 Grand Slam finals, so he doesn't, so to say, he has a lot of experience playing in this circumstances. So I knew that he's not going to give up just like that. After the second set, he went to change, and he came back as a different player. So we went toe to toe, and yeah, I think it was fair to end up a match in a tiebreak.
Novak, Stan mentioned that you were on a peak, and I told him that you had several peaks and that he faced you in all of those peaks that you had in your career, and asked him how to compare you in those several peaks. And he said that now you gain some weight and you're more powerful and you're able to do stuff that you maybe beforehand you weren't able. There was another question that I was intending to ask you. Usually, like Mardy Fish or Andy Roddick, they get slimmer and more elastic. You've always been known by your elasticity, but you gain weight. Can you tell us about it?
Hard for me to get slimmer than I already am, or than I was a few years ago, to be honest. Yeah, I went through my phases when I was also very, very slim, and struggled with some problems with my stomach and etc. and had to deal with that. But I do feel great, you know. I think that I have an optimal weight right now in terms of, you know, the body weight, but that's, you know, such a, I guess, superficial thing. You know, there's so many more aspects to than just body weight that are, you know, factors that are more important. You know, you need to combine it with being dynamic, powerful, flexible. Tennis is a sport that is quite complex in this way. I mean, it requires a player to have really a great balance, an optimal balance between all these traits, so to say, physical traits. But yeah, then again, you know, we're all different. We all have different body types. I always have worked a lot on my flexibility since a young age, and I was taught that this was extremely important because that's going to give me longevity. You know, focusing a lot and doing a lot on the prevention. So just before I get on the practice court, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and a few hours of work before I actually get to the training court. So and that helps me, and it helps extend my career. It helps me still compete at the highest level, helps me, you know, prevent any, God forbid, injuries or anything like that that would, you know, that it's kind of, if you see other players, you know, at that age and stage, you know, it's kind of expected to have a major injury, you know, later in your career, just because of the wear and tear of the body. But, you know, luckily for me, I've had only one significant injury that kept me out of the circuit for, you know, almost a year on and off, you know, with the surgery of the elbow. Other than that, you know, there were some, you know, muscle tears and injuries, but generally I've kept healthy, considering the intensity of my career and the amount of matches I've played in the last 20 years.
So, he did a follow-up. Just 5 years ago when he started working with Marian Vajda again, he said that he asked you to include fish on your regimen, and that you gained a couple of kilos that helped you in that phase. I was waiting for you to tell me about your.
I'm not going to get into the diet. I don't think it's not the time, not the place at the moment. But Marian Vajda was my tennis coach, not my nutritionist. But of course, he was, trying to understand, what will help me in any shape or form, from any point of view, so to say, whether it's on the court, off the court. So we discussed that a lot. But as I said, I went through my journey, and still I am going through a journey because the bodies are changing constantly. We are all changing, so I have to be able to adapt to certain periods of the different seasons, different needs of the body, and depending on whether you're preparing or whether you're in competition. There's a lot of details that it's hard to share right now, but I think I'm in a good place overall.
Novak, the other day I asked Pedro Cachin, after facing the match with you, what he had told you at the net when shaking hands. And he said that he had told you, these have been the best 2 hours of tennis in my life. And in the interview, he praised you so much for what you are doing for tennis and for them. So I ask you, how do you assess this circumstance in a so competitive sport? What you think about this coming from this competitor and other people?
Well, I saw what he said, and I mean, I actually heard what he said on the net, and I was very moved by that, and obviously very flattered that he felt that those couple of hours were the best hours that he ever had on the tennis court. So of course it was something that was very nice to hear, especially when it's coming from your colleague and your rival and somebody you're sharing the tennis circuit with. When they recognize that you are trying to put an effort for them as well through PTPA and Players Organization, which I think he was referring to. What he was referring to, it's something that is the best thing that I could hear, to be honest. I don't really care much about what anybody else has to say except players, because players know what PTPA and what I have been trying to do for the players in the last 10 plus years. So I'm really glad that that's recognized.
Hello. I would like to ask about your next opponent. You and many other players described Hubert as one of the nicest players on the tour. So absolutely. I would like to ask you now to describe him more as a tennis player, more an opponent, where he could be the most dangerous for you. And would you agree that it's better to play against him on any other surface than grass?
I don't know if I ever played him on grass, to be honest. 4
years ago.
It was 4 years ago. Okay, sorry. Then I know that exactly. You're right. I remember. Yes, it was a close match because he serves extremely powerful and good, and he covers the court very well. He has very long arms, so when he comes to the net, he's got a very good feeling at the net. He closes the net very well. He plays a lot of doubles as well. He's had some very good success in doubles, so he's comfortable to play also from the back of the court defending. For a very tall guy, he defends very well. He even slides, and he comes in and he covers the net very well. So just overall very complete player. I don't see too many holes in his game, really. So I know that that's going to definitely be the toughest challenge for me of the tournament so far. He didn't drop a set so far here in the tournament, and I saw how he was playing. He's very comfortable playing on grass. He beat Federer here some years ago, so he's a player that doesn't mind playing on a big stadium. And as you mentioned, super nice guy, and someone that I really like off the court, and it's gonna be a great battle. I look forward to that. I know that I have to be at my best to win.
We'll move on to questions in Serbian. Yes.
Nole,